Hi, here I am, Auntie Kay. I'm inside to show you some of the antique and other items that we found this week, June 18th. One of the items that I found was this lovely vintage two-piece gown. I love the color, fits really well, except for the top is a little too large. So Uncle Vinty used some paper clips to clip me together. I am going to take it to the seamstress and have it taken in because I'm keeping this. I really like it. She'll have to move the zipper and she'll have to do away with these really serious shoulder pads. But other than that, I think it's a great gown. Okay, if you look over here, you can see that I got a lot of oil lamps. We stopped at one yard sale and the gentleman and his wife were retiring and moving off to a condo, and he had turned oil lamps into electric lamps. That's what he did. So he had a lot of these neat oil lamps. So I have two matching. These are quite old, antique. This one, actually the base is old. This amber one, a metal one, and another relatively old glass one. And this little itty bitty guy. So that's what, 2, 4, 6, 7 oil lamps. And a number of burners and other pieces. Wicks and things like that for the oil lamps. In addition, I didn't get all of these chimneys there, but I got a lot of these chimneys from him. All of that, the oil lamps, the burners, the wicks, and a number of these chimneys cost me $15. Awesome. Every single one of those lamps over there would sell for 20, 30 bucks each, maybe even higher. So I thought I did really well there. I went to another really neat estate sale. These were all in a really little area, so we just bounced from one to the other to the other. We got this. We aren't sure if it's antique or repro, but anyway, it's supposed to be a popcorn popper. So we picked that up and I paid, do you remember, Uncle Vinty, what that was? $1. I got this. They thought it was depression glass, and some depression glass was clear. A juicer for $1. Yet another old spool that someone tried to paint, faux paint, for $1. A really nice old vintage jug in perfect condition for $5. People like these little jugs because they're small, they don't take up a lot of space. So this I would think would sell for 20, maybe 30 bucks.
No marks.
It doesn't have any marks, but they're just nice. They're kind of rustic and old Americana looking. Now these are 2 old bottle openers. One is from, do you remember what they are, Vinty?
One's from Baltimore and one's from Cumberland, right?
Yeah.
Queen City
Brewing Company. And what was the other one? It must be on the other side because I'm not seeing it. That's the Queen City one. And this is, it's dry and beery. That's weird. Gunther's Beer in Baltimore. So these guys are actually vintage and they sell for about $5 each. Now these things were hanging up in the garage. One says Cheyenne, Wyoming, home of Cheyenne Frontier Days. And then this one says Boulder, home of University of Colorado. Well, I bought those. What did he sell them to me for? $1 each. We had about 20 some items, and he charged us $20 for just all the items.
It's in our $20 box.
It was in our $20 box.
From the previous
video with all the tools, etc. Anyway, I started looking at these, and I realized this looks like this might line up with a license plate. And aha, sure enough, that's what these were. These went over the license plates, I guess in the 40s, maybe 50s. I haven't been able to find these online, but I know these are worth something because they're very vintage and I'm sure they're collectible. Okay, one of the estate sales, I found this guy. This is what you would call a standing trivet, yeah. I think people kept these near the fireplace so they could put irons on them. This one is just vintage or a reproduction because it has screws in it. But it's still very nice, and I only paid $3 for it. I think that's probably worth about $10. I have 3 stackable Firkin baskets. which are quite nice. I paid $3 for those. Really nice, great for storage, give you that nice vintage look. At that same sale, for a couple of bucks, I found a really unique basket. It's got these 3 little handles here that move around. Anyway, I thought that was a cool basket, so I bought that. Like I told you guys, people collect baskets. Okay, this is called rope lights. I got this for a health club where I work part-time to run around the floor of the aerobic studio for teaching yoga classes or Zumba or something like that when you want some muted lighting. So anyway, what did I pay for that? $2 for each
free
of
spool.
these. Yeah, 2 spools. So that'll be great. At the yard sale that was closing up today, everything free after 11, this was just sitting there. It's the Washington Post style section from December 10th, 1980, and it's remembering John Lennon from 1940 to 1980. So it's a whole issue on John Lennon. So I just picked that up. Gotta have that. Where can I put him?
Over there. You didn't do the fish.
I know, I'll do him last.
Okay.
All right. At one of these estate sales, on her whole wall, she had all these trivets. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 trivets. Do you remember what I paid for all the trivets?
20.
$1 each for most of them and 2 for the rest.
22, I think, for all of them.
22 for all these guys. And they're great. Like I said, they're just fun. I do have a couple that are antique in here, in vintage. I mean, most of these are what you would consider vintage. Most of these are at least 50 years old. But I think they're fun and they're an easy thing for people to collect. Okay. I got this. It's 50 cents. It's an old Atlas mason jar. And someone has made it into a bird waterer or a chicken waterer. I don't know if a chicken could get their little head in there. But anyway, I paid 50 cents for it. I thought it was kind of cute. A Swedish Dala horse. When I was a kid, one of my little friends and I used to play this game called Video Village, and we'd just share our toys. You'd win toys, and I won one of these from her, and ever since then I've been collecting them. So I picked this guy up. He's actually vintage or antique, I believe, for $8. A signed by Coyote, Navajo, USA, really nice native bowl or vase for $8. A grinder. We haven't been able to find a name on here. No name grinder, but it does have all of these different blades with it. So it's got to be worth something. I paid about $1 for that. And I'm gonna 2 lamps, and then I'll show you the really cool fish. This is a wall lamp, and it's just a replica of what people would hang the old oil lamps off the wall on, but it's electric, and on top of this light, this would sit. So you have a chimney and a hobnail vase or cover on top of that. The other thing that I got was this nice lamp. It's a floor lamp. It also has a chimney on it and a nice paper vase. They actually threw in the Amish hat. I think it's a good thing I'm not Amish because I don't look very good in the cap, do I?
Yeah, pull the hair out of your eyes. There you go. That's better.
Do I look better now?
You look Amish now.
I look Amish now? Very good. All right. So that I got. One other thing was this little Bake King muffin tin. Again, $1. I'm not sure what that's worth, but that's worth a little bit. All right, put my tiara back on. I'm feeling naked. The last thing I want to show you is this. And this is my favorite thing that I found this weekend. Look at that thing. He looks funky, doesn't he? He's an old, what would you call it? Come along, pull along toy. But he's missing his tail. So I'm going to try to find a photograph of a similar toy so that I can replicate the tail and restore him. But look, he even, watch him go. Come on, little guy. There he goes. He does great. Pretty cool, eh? So that's it. That concludes all of this stuff. I was going to give a tip of the day, but it's taken so long to go through all of our stuff that I think I'll reserve that until next time. Anyway, we've got a couple items listed on eBay that are doing pretty well, and we're off to the auction house next week to try to sell a lot of furniture. So I'll report back and tell you about that next week. Bye.